Ladies and gentlemen, there's probably two ways to improve your writing dramatically, drastically. The first way is knowing to use signal phrases. We went over signal phrases, how not just to introduce a signal phrase, but to go back and comment on it and analyze it. Uh, Probably the second best way to improve your writing is to use parallelism. It's kind of a weird word to say, parallelism. You can say parallel structure. Purdue Owl has a great website on parallel structure, and I have the link here for you. The thing about parallel structure is you're really going to need it if you're one of those writers who has a professor who encourages you to write a thesis statement or a claim with those list of mapping components that direct the body paragraphs, because those list of mapping components that you write after a thesis, which I'll give you some examples in a second, those are you're gonna want to present those in parallel structure. Let's first define this very weird word to say, parallelism. What a word, man. Parallelism is using the same pattern of words, usually when you're presenting a list. Here's an example. Kettlebell training makes you strong, makes you agile, and makes you confident. That is parallel. You can hear it. Makes you strong, makes you agile, makes you confident. You've got verb makes you strong, verb makes you agile, verb makes you confident. Those are called three verbal phrases. Never mix the structure. Don't do this. Kettlebell training makes you strong, makes you agile, and bringing you confidence. Now, you took the word bring and you put an ing ending on it, which is called a gerund, and it sounds terrible. Here's another example of failed parallel structure. To write a successful research paper, you must adhere to the exact MLA format, employ a variety of paragraph transitions, and writing an intellectually rigorous thesis. Notice you went from verbal to gerund. Let's correct it. To write a successful research paper, you must adhere to the exact MLA format, employ a variety of paragraph transitions, and write an intellectually rigorous thesis. You went verbal, verbal, verbal. This is incorrect. The difficulty of adhering to the MLA format is that the rules are frequently being updated, the sheer abundance of rules you have to follow, and to integrate your research into your essay. That's a giant mess. It's it lacks parallelism. You've got the rules are frequently being updated, so you got a verbal, the sheer abundance of rules you have to follow. You've got you got a prepositional phrase there, and then you have the word to integrate. That's called a infinitive verb situation. You're mixing it all up. You don't even need to know all the terms of these parts. You just need to be able to hear it in your ear. Let's correct it. The difficulty of adhering to the MLA format is that the rules are frequently being updated, the rules are hard to follow, and the MLA in-text citations are difficult to master. We use the linking verb are for every single one. We have parallelism. Now, this gets more important when you write your thesis, because your thesis is going to be pretty early in your essay usually. Most writers are going to probably put a thesis in the first or second paragraph of 1,200 word essay. Let's say you're writing a thesis statement based on Jaron Lanier's 10 arguments for deleting your social media accounts right now. Here is an incorrect thesis. Jaron Lanier makes the persuasive case that social media must be deleted because it is a portable crack machine that enslaves us to addiction, compromising our individuality by turning us into tribalistic conformists, to make us race to the bottom for attention, and encouraging us to surrender our private data to big business. Now, all those mapping components are delicious. They would direct your body paragraphs, but they're not constructed in parallel construction here. It is a portable crack machine. We have it is as a verbal, then we have the gerund compromising, then we have to make us, that's an infinitive, and it's all mixed up. Let's correct it. Jaron Lanier makes a persuasive case that social media must be deleted because it is a portable crack machine that enslaves us to addiction. It is a powerful technology that compromises our individuality by turning us into tribalistic conformists. It is a platform that makes us race to the bottom for attention, and it is a trap that encourages us to surrender our private data to big business. You've got it is, it is, it is. I'm going to tell you something. When you write a thesis like this, if you have any questions about whether you wrote it in parallel form or not, email it to me. I'd be happy to tell you if it's parallel or not before you turn it in on turnitin.com. Email me your thesis. Let's make sure you have parallel construction. When you go to UCLA, wherever it is you're going, you want your professors to see that you know how to write parallel structure. So let's break it down. It is, it is, it is. Notice the parallel form. Here's another incorrect thesis for Jaron Lanier. Jaron Lanier makes a compelling case that we must delete our social media accounts because immersing ourselves in the social media ecosystem brings out our inner demon through selfish addiction, wolf pack behavior, which means joining the outrage machine and cancel culture, and attention getting fakery, which becomes a race to the bottom. I think this attention getting fakery is going to throw us out of here. Let's see what we can do. Jaron Lanier makes a compelling case that we must delete our social media accounts because immersing ourselves in the social media ecosystem brings out our inner demon through selfish addiction. Joining Wolfpack behavior by joining the outrage machine, and cancel culture has a demon. I don't like that one. I like the first one better. Jaron Lanier makes a compelling case we must delete our social media accounts because immersing ourselves in the social media ecosystem brings out our inner demon through selfish addiction. Okay, immersing is a gerund, joining is a gerund, yes, so far so good. And resorting to attention-getting fakery causes us to race to the bottom. Well, it is parallel, but I do find it a little bit awkward. I'd probably have to rewrite that. I'll give the thesis credit for having parallel structure. You've got immersing, joining, and resorting, but I find overall I did not enjoy reading that. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't sound like music to my ears. It made me stop in my tracks. I almost shut down this video. You could feel it, couldn't you? All right, let's try another example. All right, this is something I use in my 1C students. The one I showed you before is I use for my 1A students. Let's look at this incorrect thesis. While Applebaum could better clarify his points by showing that America's race war is in part a cultural war, he makes a persuasive argument that America's existential crisis is that the right is so desperate to fight diversity that it is relying on fascist principles and methods, including electing racist demagogues with no political experience to high office, to give the green light to racist extremist groups to come out of the woodwork. They are weaponizing fake news in order to own the libs and to reject science-based evidence as a liberal conspiracy. Wow. That thesis is a mess. Oh my gosh. I'm depressed just reading it. He makes a persuasive case that America's existential crisis we have is here, and then we have electing racist demagogues, which is a gerund, and then we have two, so he went from gerund to infinitive to verbal phrase, they are. Let's do it all in one consistent pattern. While Applebaum would better clarify his points by showing that America's race war is in part a cultural war, he makes a persuasive argument that America's existential crisis is that the right is so desperate to fight diversity that it is relying on fascist principles and methods, including electing racist demagogues with no political experience to high office, giving the green light to racist extremist groups to come out of the woodwork, weaponizing fake news in order to own the libs, and rejecting science-based evidence as a liberal conspiracy. So here he went Jaron, 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 including, giving, weaponizing, rejecting. Now I've got some more examples of parallelism below. You know what I recommend? Until you're confident with parallelism, and I know here we are, I'm making this video in the context of a COVID-19 situation. I'm not there to be in the writing lab with you when you write your thesis. So I encourage you, if you have any questions about your parallelism, your thesis, email it to me. That's probably going to be the best thing we can do at this point. I want you to really have a good handle on your signal phrases and your parallel structure. I think those two skills are going to make you shine when you transfer to a college or university, or if you're taking another writing class here at the college. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done here. Until next time, we are out.